6 months ago, I started a brand new Etsy shop selling stickers and print-on-demand items. And today I'm going to walk you through all the stats so that you can make a much more well-informed decision on if you should start a new Etsy shop in 2023. So let's get to it. Let's see how I did. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to pull up the Etsy seller app and I'm going to mirror it for you over here so you can see what I'm seeing. So I'm going to go into the stats area and I am going to scroll over and go to all time. And then on this little bar graph here, you're going to see that the very first month that I made sales was in October 2022. In that month, I only got 18 orders. And then we skip ahead 6 months to March, which is when I'm filming this video. At the very end of March, you will see I made 175 orders in March. And my grand total for the 6 months is 704 orders. And the revenue stream that I got was $12,169.16. So right away, that is 12 grand over a 6-month period that I put into my pocket, that I received in addition, doing this as a side hustle, doing this as a side gig, doing something that I actually enjoyed doing, and it was actually fairly straightforward. So really my only regret was that I did not start this sooner, because I was one of those people, possibly like you since you're watching this video, that was just really undecided on if I should start this Etsy business, if I should just jump into this or not. I just kind of went back and forth. I watched so many videos on YouTube here, trying to figure out like more information. You know, is it worth the time? Is it worth the initial investment to actually jump into this endeavor? And obviously 12 grand is a lot of extra money. So the answer is yes. Yes, I should have done it. I should have done it a lot sooner. So if you are one of those people that are on the fence, this video here is your sign to start today. Because just imagine if I had started a year ago or 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I would be way further ahead and I would be making so much more money. So start today. That is the lesson I'm trying to impart onto you. You're welcome. Start today. And scene. I'm sorry if that's the type of video that you were looking for today. This is not that video. This is not the one. Because if you were looking for a video to kind of motivate you to start your shop, to kind of gas you up, to more likely gaslight you into starting your shop, this is not that one. This video here is one where I'm going to show you the unvarnished truth behind actually starting an Etsy shop in 2023 and the first 6 months and what that entails. And a lot of times when you watch all these videos online, a lot of these people are giving you only part of the truth. They are giving you kind of a lot of like the pros. They're highlighting those, and a lot of times they don't really show you that many cons, or they show you no cons. The only con sometimes is maybe they're trying to con you out of your money. Because if you notice, a lot of these videos in the description boxes for the videos, you will see that they have partnership deals. They have promo codes. They're trying to sell you things that will help you start this business, right? So of course they're going to make it seem, you know, all like kittens and puppies over here and show you kind of everything through a rose-colored glass, because they want you to jump into this and they want you to, you know, buy the equipment that they're partnered with. They want you to buy the supplies. They want you to buy the services such as the print-on-demand services. So a lot of times you got to watch these videos with a very critical eye, critical mind, and a little bit of a side eye, really, with, you know. And even for myself, as someone that is very skeptical by nature, I watched all these videos and I really kind of saw that they were trying to sell me stuff. But even then, just because this is something that I really wanted to get into, in the very back of my mind, I still kind of had that thought of like, well, who knows? Maybe I will make it rich, right? Maybe this is a get rich quick scheme that will work. Maybe I am the exception to the rule, you know, like I'm going to do a really great job and I'm going to do like amazing, right? So even when you're skeptical, because this is something that you want to do, a lot of times you will slowly kind of talk yourself into it, right? So that kind of happens. So I just wanted to kind of throw that out there. That's why I did that skit, just to show you how easy it is to present you some facts and then kind of skew it a certain way. So for instance, all those facts that I showed you in terms of like the numbers and everything, the sales numbers, how many orders I got, that is all real. But what I neglected to tell you, or actually what I straight up lied to you about, is that it is not a side gig for me. These numbers are what I got from doing this taking this very seriously and doing this for 6 months full time. So now that story is a lot different, right? So $12,000 over 6 months full time is a lot different story. And once I dive into the actual numbers with you and break it all down and show you other things, you will see that story is even way more complicated than just that $12,000 figure. So we're going to get to that. But first, I wanted to show you a little bit of other things on the app here, just so that you kind of see a little bit of background on my shop so that you can kind of see where I'm coming from. So first thing I want to show you is that my conversion rate on that same screen is 5%. So based on the information that I researched online, and who knows once again if this information is correct, apparently the conversion rate that is kind of ongoing across the internet for online sales is about 2 to 3% or so, right? And similarly on Etsy it is the same. I have seen people say that, somewhere between like 1 to 5% is like average. Like 5%, what I have is going to be on the higher end of the average scale. And then some reports I saw say that 5% is actually really, really good. So that's to show you that my conversion rate is either a high average or above average. So that shows you that the listings that I'm putting up are actually good quality. There are things that people want to purchase, so that the numbers that I'm getting are actually not from just like me just slapping a few things together and pushing it out there and not getting sales, right? So to continue that, I just want to show you like the review page. So the review page there, you'll see that I have 5-star reviews. I have 249 reviews with only about 700 orders, right? So you see there that my percentage, my ratio of reviews to orders is actually very, very high. And I have 5 stars. So that means that the products that I'm giving to people, they actually enjoy it. I'm adding a lot of extra things in for them. I'm going the extra mile, and that's why a lot of people are leaving me reviews. So that's what I wanted to show you. And then also I wanted to show you that I am a star seller. So if you don't know, star seller is something that Etsy rewards you if you meet 3 main criteria over a 3-month period. So message response rate is the first one. You have to have at least 95%. I'm right there at 95. You have to have an average rating of above 4.8. And I am at 5.0, so that's a perfect score. And then on-time shipping and tracking, you have to be at 95% or higher, and I'm at 97. And I would be at 100, but the only thing is I do custom orders for some people, and a lot of times people just do not respond to the custom order request that I need them to approve. So that's why I can't ship out those items right away, and that's the only reason why I have 97%. So that is all to show you, once again, that I am doing a pretty good job running this shop, and I'm taking it very seriously. So the numbers that you see there are correlating to someone that's actually taking this very seriously and doing the work and providing a service and a product that people actually enjoy. Okay. On top of that, I want to kind of just talk a little bit about my history, my background, my skill set that I brought into this before I even started the shop, so that you have a better idea of where I'm coming from, so that you can kind of gauge like your experience level and, is it above mine, or if you would need to learn more than me. And then if that case, then it would be even more difficult for you to start this endeavor, right? So I have a English degree from UCLA. The diploma's here somewhere, who knows, because I never used it and I never have used it. It has never helped me at all, besides the fact that I read and write English. Choices were made, and not good ones, but they were made, and that's life, but we keep it moving, right? So that doesn't come into play at all with this. But I do have a background in art also. So my whole life I've been drawing and painting. So I took a lot of classes in junior high, high school, college. So I have a background in art and a little bit in design. So that helped me obviously with making stickers and making designs for t-shirts and mugs and things like that, right? So that comes into play. So I was, somewhat confident in that arena, that I could do at least an okay job that kind of matched what kind of other products I saw on Etsy. I do also have a hobby of photography, so I already came into this knowing how to take photos and also having photography equipment already. So that is an expense that I already had from the past. And in addition to that, I do know how to use all the Adobe programs, like most of them, at least on a decent level. In addition to that, in my previous work experience, I have had work done doing like creating content for social media. I have run Google ads before, Facebook and Instagram ads. I run those types of ads before, which does come into play with when you kind of run ads for your shop. And then also I have run a WooCommerce site before to sell products for a small company. I also ran their Amazon store and their eBay store. So those things I already knew how to do also. So that all those kind of experiences helped me kind of move along the learning process for starting this Etsy shop. So that's why if you don't have any kind of experience that is kind of relating to any of that, then this may be actually even harder for you. So that's the only reason why I went through that, is just to kind of show you where I was at going into this so that you can gauge your own experience and how you may fare. So at this point, I'm going to switch over to the computer and I'm going to show you the actual numbers for the first 6 months. All right, so now I'm going to show you more detailed numbers for my shop for the last 6 months. So you can kind of see all the sales and the expenses and things like that, right? And I pulled all this information directly from Etsy, the sales numbers, and then a lot of the fees and things I pulled from my own record keeping that I use through QuickBook. So as you see here, starting in October, you will see that my sales were only $184.70. In November, they jumped up to almost $1,300, almost $4,000 in December, because obviously in December, we know all Christmas sales, that's when sales are the best. It did a sharp decline there in January. It was $1,200, $1,700 in February, and then you see here in March, it is also almost $4,000. So I'm almost back to where I was in December, which is a very good sign. So that's kind of like that silver lining for me, is that in March it seems to be it did a lot better than it did in February and January, which were pretty bad months, which is kind of to be expected, but obviously a little worrying when you're kind of seeing these numbers, right? And then here you'll see on the fees, the fee column here, these are the fees that are directly taken out by Etsy, and these are like the listing fees and like the percentage fees that they charge when you sell an item and things like that, right? Marketing, these are the amounts that I paid to Etsy directly to market my item. So when you do like a search for an item, you'll see that there are things on there that are like ads that are promoted, right? And then there are like the natural things that kind of are ranked to number 1 on that page. So when you have a new Etsy shop and you have new listings, obviously your listing is going to be competing with so many other people. Unless you have a product that's super, super unique and nobody is making it, then you're going to be competing with a lot of other people. So your product, when you list it, will probably show up on like, page 10 or something like that, right? Depending on what that item is. But if you make items that are more rare, then obviously you may have a higher chance of getting to the first page a lot faster. But otherwise, you do have to pay Etsy for marketing, for ads. You got to spend money to make money. And you do that by paying Etsy to promote your ad and put it on the first page, and hopefully that will generate sales for you. And for marketing, these are the amounts that I paid, like I said, to Etsy directly. And if you see here, the first month I paid about $65. The highest amount I paid was almost $1,000 in December. And once again, the good kind of silver lining for me here is that I only paid $466 in March, so about half as much as I did in December, but my sales were the same. So that is a good sign. That means that my listings are slowly kind of gaining traction, and they gain traction by you making more sales. And of course, when you do your listing, you want to make sure you put a lot of good, like, search engine optimization types of keywords and things like that, right? So that you have an easier time climbing the ranks and making those sales. So those are good signs for me, that things are kind of going in the positive direction, right? That my listings are starting to make sales on their own, that I don't have to pay as much for advertising. So that's always a positive note. In the shipping column here, in column E, this is the amount that I pay to Etsy to buy shipping labels. So I get my shipping labels directly from Etsy. And these are for my sticker sales. So for sticker sales, I buy it directly from them, and that's what you see there. And then you'll see here, over here in the column F, is my net profits, right, for each month. So obviously the best months were December and March. So the grand total that you're going to see then is, these are the totals here. So in terms of sales, like before, it's $12,191.79. The fees here are going to be about $1,500, about $2,700 on marketing, $626 on the shipping labels, and then the net profit I had was $7,363.45. So once again, once you kind of see all of the fees and things that you have to pay out, obviously now that's a lot lower than 12,000, right? It's 7,363. But that would be pretty good still for launching a new business, right? For 6 months. Except the story is not over. You see there is a big black box here so you know that it's not done. So let's go move on to this next line here. Oh, that line's empty. But let's move on to the one after that. And you're going to see, actually, let's start here. You're going to see my Printify costs, right? So part of my business, especially in like December and like a couple months ago, my business has switched over to mostly more stickers now. But before, I was doing a lot of kind of Printify. So I was doing like t-shirts and sweatshirts and mugs and things like that. But you have to think that Printify, that service, they charge you for creating those items and they charge you for shipping those items. So that is how much it cost me to do my orders, which was, for the 6 months, it was $1,800, almost over $1,800. And that now brings my net profits down to $5,500, right? And then we continue the story. There's production supplies. I spent, which is going to be like for my sticker making, like the vinyl and like the materials, the raw materials that I needed to create my products, right? Which is $1,300. So that now brings it down to $4,258. Then packaging, shipping. So also I needed to purchase, envelopes and flat envelopes and things like that for me to ship out my stickers, right? This is not including the shipping cost of Printify, so that's already included here. This is just for my sticker side of the business. I spent that amount on the packaging, and then also some additional postage. So one thing I didn't know about either is if you send out, even if you're sending stickers and you're sending out things in envelopes or as like an envelope size or a flat size, if it's too thick and it doesn't bend enough, you will be charged a 40-cent non-machinable fee. So in the beginning, I had a couple of packages get returned to me because I did not realize that. So that's an additional 40 cents that I pay for, I would say, maybe 20% of my packages that I have to slap on there just to make sure that it doesn't get returned to me, that it doesn't, that's not too thick. Because if it can't run through the machines on its own, then they will charge you that extra, and they will return it to you if you don't have that extra 40 cents on there. So now that then takes me down to $3,864. Next, I got my like subscriptions and services. So these are like subscriptions I have for like QuickBook, for like Etsy, for things that help me, Adobe programs, things that help me run the business, right? And I think that figure is actually probably higher than that. That is the kind of figure that I pulled. There are additional costs that I did not even include on this, just little things that you buy nickel and diming you as you go along. So this is a conservative estimate, really. Next box here is going to be equipment. So this is equipment that I bought to start off with the sticker side of the business, right? So I would say about half of that is actually like mandatory things that I really, really needed to be able to start the business. So which is like a printer, a cutting machine, and I bought mine stuff like, kind of like mid-level. So it's not, I did not get like commercial grade things, which that would have cost me like thousands and thousands of more dollars, right? But I got like just decent things to kind of get started, right? And I already have in my mind kind of some upgrades that I may want to do once I save the money. The one kind of purchase that I didn't really need to make, but I still did because I thought I wanted to, and I thought it would kind of just benefit in the long run, which is I did buy a Wacom Cintiq, which is a tablet, like a tablet screen that you can draw on, which costs almost $2,000. So, so that was kind of a splurge there, which is that it's something that I probably I didn't have to have that, but I got it anyways. So that brings me to a negative $600, right? So yeah, you never want to see those negative numbers, but the story's not over, because then you have to think about your time costs, the time that you're taking to work on all of this. Because like I said to you before, this is my full-time job for the last 6 months. So if you think, even if I was working a minimum wage job in California, which pays $15.50 an hour in 2023, and I was not working a minimum wage job before. I was making a lot more than that, to be honest. And let's say if you're working a 40-hour week, which I actually work more than 40 hours a week. I work 6 days a week, so it's at least 50 hours probably. But we're going to go with the minimum wage. We're going to go with 40. And so 40 is in a month, that is 160 hours. So that means that in a month, you would be missing out on about $2,500 in wages. So for the 6 months then, that would be $14,880, so $15,000 that you would make if you were just working another job, a minimum wage job, right? So once you kind of add that into here, then you will see that actually in reality, I am down $15,500. And I would just tack on another at least $500 just for like odds and end things that I purchased that I didn't really take the time to add on to here, right? So $16,000 that I put into this business already to get it to just here to March, where I'm making about $4,000 in sales and I'm getting a profit of $2,700, right? So that's kind of a concerning number, isn't it? So this is a far cry from my first little skit from the beginning of the video where I'm like, oh my God, I made 12 grand and it's so easy. No, I actually lost a lot of money doing this so far. And the only kind of silver lining, like I mentioned, is that you see the months, it's kind of heading into a positive direction. I've kind of made some mistakes that I've now corrected. I've learned a lot more, and now I'm kind of narrowing my focus down to the things that are selling and the things I'm making profit from, right? And it seems to be working for March. March is the first month where I'm like, wow, okay, this seems pretty good. If this kind of continues this trend, then I can see this doing decently. But who knows when that will actually happen, or if it will happen really. This is a gamble for me to be doing this month after month, kind of not making money working another job, right? Kind of with this mindset that I'm building something for the future, that at some point it's going to become profitable, and hopefully decently profitable, that will make it worth it. So there you see, when you look at the numbers much more in detail, things are not quite so rosy, right? So that is why I wanted to make this video, to show you there are a lot of things that go into this. So when you watch all these videos about people showing you how easy it is to just like do a downloadable business or a print-on-demand business, you can make so much money and it's so easy, right? That you kind of just be careful, because it's not what it seems. If you are getting into this trying to see that it's like a get-rich-quick scheme or just something, it's not. It's actually, you have to put a lot of effort into it to even get these types of results. Like I mentioned before, I showed you my store. I'm getting 5-star reviews. I haven't gotten one bad review yet, so I'm giving people things that they want. I'm working really hard, 6 days a week almost, sometimes almost 7 days a week. I am kind of, doing everything that I have to do to make this successful, and it's still, this is where I'm at, which is a concerning number, right? So be careful when you get into this. Think very carefully. Make sure that if you're going to jump into this as a full-time thing, that you have enough money, starting capital, right? Because you really, if you're starting a new business, which is what this is a new business, you are going to have to expect that you're not going to make a profit for a while. So if you were opening a restaurant or any kind of, a general store or whatever, you have to know that in the beginning you have to invest money. And that's why a lot of times these businesses, they have to raise funds, right? They have to raise investments before they can actually start the business, because you are going to be outputting a lot of money before you actually make money. But it's just that the dream is that at some point you're going to kind of go over that hump and then cross over and be successful. But of course, a lot of businesses go bankrupt. So that is always a possibility. So I am taking a huge gamble doing this, but next I'm going to talk about the pros, because this is a lot of cons. Let's go to the pros next. So before I feel really, really bad that I've just been poo-pooing on all your hopes and dreams, shattering them like broken glass, they're just on the floor now, and I don't want to step on them. But before I do all that, I do want to tell you that there are pros, right? I've been talking a lot about the cons and kind of the numbers and everything, and showing you that it's pretty difficult, but there are pros. And firstly, the first one is going to be that you get to be your own boss. And of course, I think that is always a dream, everybody's dream, to be your own boss, to make all the decisions yourself. You don't have other people second guessing you. You don't have anyone over you kind of talking down to you and telling you what to do. You can control your own schedule. Like I can't tell you how amazing that has been for the last 6 months, being able to control my schedule. I could kind of work all night if I want to and sleep all day. I could take a couple hours break in the middle of the day and go to the gym, which I do now. For the first time in my life, I've been able to consistently go to the gym because my schedule is mine to control, right? And on top of that, obviously, when you are working for yourself, there is that motivating factor of just building something of your own, that you're going to own this no matter what. Let's say in a year from now, when I decide I want to sell something else on Etsy, I can do that, because Etsy, as I build this shop, then I can kind of control and kind of change paths if I want to, but I would still have that shop that has all those reviews and has all that kind of sales, so that can always be like kind of like a portfolio for a client or a customer to see. You can always kind of switch over to something else. So it is still amazing to have that little business, right? That you can always have. Even if I go and work another job, I could still have this as a side gig once it kind of starts up, and I can kind of transition it over to kind of running on its own, or I could pay someone, to run it for me. There's a lot of kind of options that you can do with the shop. In addition to that, it is also just really amazing to work with the customers. I'm an introvert, so I love working alone, which is why this job is really perfect for me. I kind of get very distracted when other people are around, so it's really great for me to work alone. I can kind of do my job and actually like watch Netflix if I want to, or anything like that, right? That's perfectly fine. And in terms of like customers and stuff, like I just chat with them on Etsy Messenger, but I don't have to actually talk to them on the phone or see them face to face, which as an introvert, I really do not like that. And actually all the interactions I've had with customers have been wonderful. Obviously you get that steady stream of reviews where people, if you're giving them a good product, they're giving you all these rave reviews and saying all these nice things, right, about you and your products. And in addition to that, a lot of times I do custom orders, and you kind of learn a little bit about people. They send you pictures of like their mom that passed away, or their dog that they really love, or it's for a bachelor party, a birthday party, someone's turning 50. These little things are cute. They're very cute. They keep me motivated, really, and give me kind of that little endorphin rush for me to kind of move on my day. And of course, because I'm doing something that I love, that I really enjoy, it really does not seem like work a lot of the time. So I can work for like 10 hours in a row, and it goes by so quickly. Or one, I'm like streaming my favorite shows when I'm doing it, but at the same time, it's also like just doing things that I love, that don't stress me out. They keep me actually calm. They put me in a good mind, like a headspace. So it cannot be, that value of that, you can't place like a numbers value to that, really, because based on just kind of my previous work before, where things were just so stressful, my mental health was suffering, my physical health was suffering. Here, since I've been doing this for the last 6 months, my physical health has been going up because I've been going to the gym. My mental health has been so much better than it was 6 months ago. And I think the true test of this, really, the final answer, my final kind of note to you is, if you asked me, would I go back 6 months ago and make a different decision, or would I do the same thing, knowing that I am kind of putting myself in a situation where I'm kind of still losing money, and I don't know when I'll kind of go over the hill of crossing over to actually making real money that I can survive off of, right? I think my answer would be yes, I would still do it, because the last 6 months I have been wonderful. And even though financially it's quite a gamble, right? I think that if you're one of those people that you kind of saved money before in the past, and you can afford to take the gamble, and you have a product that you really believe in and you really love, if you're one of those people that you have a good head on your shoulders and you do this, take this very seriously, and you don't think of this as a get-rich-quick scheme, then this is your sign then to go ahead and do this. Start a new Etsy shop in 2023. So if you're interested in seeing my journey and learning more about my business, subscribe to my channel. I plan on making a lot more videos updating you on the progress that I'm making. Hopefully at some point when I make an actual profit, then I'm gonna make a video documenting that. And then also I'm gonna document a lot more of like the equipment that I'm using, things that I'm doing, my experience with print on demand. Thank you so much for watching this video. Goodbye.